Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for January 13th, 2019. So I'm still, the whole time change, or this year change thing is still screwing me up. So I'm going to talk about the things that I read this week, as well as what I'm in the middle of and what I think I'm going to read later in the week. We'll see what happens. I'm in kind of a weird reading mood. I have been kind of unsure what I'm picking up, and I have used my library a little bit too much recently again. Only one of the books here is from the library, but I have a couple that I've already picked up that are here that I'm just not sure if I'm going to get to them or not. So I'm not going to talk about those, the ones that I might not get to, because I might not get to them. So only if I actually read them. But as I said, I've been trying to curb back the library to only stuff like really new releases that I want, that are in hardback, that I don't want to have to pay for and stuff. But my list has gotten up a little higher than it meant to, so that are physically all here, so I need to take care of that. And I have one book at the library waiting for me, but that one's a really short one, so I'm hoping I can squeeze that in at some point. So I finished off, I think on Monday, could have been Sunday, I finished off the part of Sherlock Holmes. I finished off The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So I'm doing this in chunks. I have these volumes. There's 2 volumes of, paperbacks that are the completed works, but the novels and the short stories. And I mostly am doing rereading right now, but I'm listening to the Stephen Fry audiobook. So I'm doing it in chunks though. So like I did the first 2 novels back in, I think October. So I did that, and then I picked up this at the end of the year, into the new year, to listen to The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So I really enjoyed a lot of these stories. Some of them I was like, oh, that was kind of interesting, but not great. But I don't remember any of them. And I read these when I was like 11 or 12. Probably 12 is probably when I got into Sherlock Holmes. So they all feel very new to me at this point. So I just read the collection of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So the next will be, I think, the memoirs is next, but I will probably wait a couple months before I pick it up again. I really would like to try to get these all done by Victober, but we'll see, because again, this is I'm only about halfway, little over halfway, no, yeah, just under halfway for this volume, and there's a second book, so we'll see. But the audiobook again is fantastic. Stephen Fry narrating it is just phenomenal. So that's been really great. And it's a great read in my car if I just need to put something on that if I don't have something going. That was why I actually picked that up. Is I go, well, let's just listen to this while I'm waiting for something to come in. And, or I hadn't decided what I wanted to read next. And it was really great. Anyway, so I finished, again, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So I put something else in my car, and I'll get to that in a second. So the next book I finished, I had started Written in Red. This is one of the books I picked for Try a Chapter tag that I did last week. And this is the one that was like my top one I wanted to try. And I love this book. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took me so long to read this. This was fantastic. It's an urban fantasy alternate history where the others, or the shapeshifters and kind of supernatural creatures, are called the Others, and they pretty much rule North America. And the history is all different, where there's only certain settlements or certain towns here and there, and the rest of it's pretty much forest land that the Others control. And this takes place kind of, I think, upstate New York kind of thing. And it has to do with Meg, who is running away from her controller, because she is a blood prophet, and if when she is cut, she has visions of the future. So oh, this was so good. The characters were awesome. This was a third person, so I wasn't expecting that until I picked it up. I actually didn't know how this would be written, but I really loved it because you got a lot of perspectives of the Others, and I liked the way Anne Bishop did their how their thoughts went and how they talked about the humans, because they're definitely different. And I thought it was really well done. And again, I love shapeshifters and vampires and all that stuff, and it's all in here, and all these great things, and some weird things, and some elementals, and it was a really great world. Like, I'm so excited that there are 4 more books in this series, and then 2 on an offshoot. But I already got the next one. waiting in the wings. I'm going to give myself a little time because I have a couple of books on my TBR I haven't got to, but this was fantastic. I totally recommend it if you are into that kind of urban fantasy. I just thought this was really, really well done, and I liked the way it wrapped up. I liked, to me, it didn't feel like it was a wrap. Like, usually in a first novel, you wrap it up enough that it could be a standalone, and it can, but I already want to pick up the next book to find out what happens next, because there's too many world questions that I want to know, and I know it's all going to get darker, I'm sure, just because they usually do, but it was so good. I really, really enjoyed this book, so I'm really glad I did. I finally am trying to tackle my urban fantasies and paranormal romances and try to get through some of them. I love them. I don't know why I put them aside. I have for the last couple of years. So that was excellent, and I will definitely be continuing that series. The other book I read this week was a book I just got in the mail, which is In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. This is number 4 in the Wayward Children series. I've been collecting them as they come out. I've really enjoyed all these. This was not my favorite one. Again, I still love the first one overall, but I still have loved everyone for different reasons. So this one follows Lundy, who is in the first book and the third. Yeah, I think. And so it's her story of how, what happened to her, what we hear about her in the other books, and how that actually came about. And so, I mean, in some ways, it's a retro story or a prequel kind of thing, but it still was very different, different formatting. I didn't like it as much as some of the other ones because some of the action that I wanted to see was not on the page, but I understand because it's a novella, because they're short. So I still liked it, but I wanted more, which is always, every one of these, I've said that, I think. Every one I read, I go, I want more, I wish there was more to this, and they're built for this size for thematical, the reasons she does it, but I still always want more. So I'm looking forward to the next one, probably next year. I know she's got at least a couple more that are planned, but I did enjoy this. If you like that series, I would definitely say this is one to pick up. I really enjoyed it, and I mean, I'm glad I own it, and that was like a little prequel to one of my ones that I did pre-order this month. And then I'm going to talk about what I'm currently in the middle of. I'm nearing the end of The Real Lolita by Sarah Winman. This is talking about Sally Horner and her abduction and rescue, or she rescued herself pretty much, from being kidnapped by she was 11 when she was kidnapped by a 50-year-old man, and traveled across country, and it was very harrowing of what she went through. For 21 months she was a captive. So and then she died only a few years later in a tragic car accident. So there's this, that's a very tragic story, and it's, again, it's one of those things it was very sensationalized at the time when she was very young, when that all happened, when she was found at 13 and stuff. But this is connecting it to Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, and how the parallels between the two stories, and it is very compelling. I think so far, I mean, I said I only have one more disc left, so there's only 6 discs, so it's only like a 7.5 hour audiobook. So I only have probably about another hour or so to go. So I'm probably going to wrap this up today. I brought it in from my car. Usually I'm listening to it in my car. I brought it in today because I'm going to do some stuff, hopefully do with the book journal. I'm trying to make, not doing too good. But I thought I'd listen to that while I was doing that, because I just, it's very, it's fascinating. I'm just not sure how there's another disc by the time I've gotten to this point. But other than that, I think it's really a very fascinating read. And I think if you are into true crime, and also see some literary, when authors take some inspiration from real life, I think it's a really good look at that. I'm still wanting to see what her conclusions are on if she finds that Nabokov did bad by pulling from the Sally Horner story, where as a writer myself, I can totally see how this happens, but it's because, again, you're living in life, and you're he already had the story idea. He just, her story kind of sparked him to go to make it a certain way. And I think her argument is really good. I'm still just not sure if she's trying to say that he shouldn't have done that. And I'm just not sure yet. So I want to see how it ends and find out, because, art comes from life, and again, you do change it and you make it your own. But I don't know. I'm just not sure on how her conclusion is going to come. So I'm going to look forward to seeing that. As I said, I'm probably going to listen to that today, finish it up. If I don't do that here in the next couple hours, it'll be in my car and I'll finish up tomorrow. But other than that, I'm enjoying that nonfiction. And I was on a waiting list for that for like 2 or 3 months. I think I put it on in nonfiction November and I finally just got it. Another nonfiction I'm reading right now is The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. Again, I've bullet journaled here and there over the last couple of years. I really got into planners and stuff a couple of years ago, which was why I was on YouTube, and then I found BookTube. But I kind of got away from doing a lot of bullet journaling because I don't do all the fancy stuff now. I just said I was doing a book journal, so I'm doing all the collections, if you know what that is, where they're the pages where you can track stuff, and I'm doing a lot for reading. I want to do my reading and my writing in this journal. But I want to also kind of get back to using this for planning purposes for my own life. Like my work life, I got it all kind of situated on how I do that. And I could use some of that for work too, but mostly this is for stuff at home and things I'm just not giving myself time to do, or not putting forth, or not working on, which is my writing, which is a big deal for me. So this has been really good. I'm about 90 pages in. So I'm about almost a third of the way through. So I'm just reading a couple of chapters every night. This is probably going to take me another week or so, because I'm not focusing on it so much as just kind of absorbing the information I already know. But I'm also learning things and going, oh, that's a good way to look at it. He's describing it much better than what some of the stuff I saw online. So this is really, as I said, if you are interested in starting the bullet journal method, or if someone like me who used to do it but have kind of fallen along but want to try it again, I think it's a really great book. He writes it very clearly, how he did it, and then he shows you how you can, again, make it your own, which is why I like it, is because I don't like structured from other planning things. That's why I don't have any of those other ones. That's not the way, because again, I do stuff for scheduling for work all the time. So my brain is a certain way, and it's nice this one I can manipulate the way that I want. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with it. So, but I'm enjoying the book anyway. I'm glad I got that. And then the physical book that I'm just picked up, and I only read like 16 pages yesterday, and I got home late last night and I did not read anything more. And I've picked up The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. This is actually the first book this month I'm picking up from my TBR. But that's okay. I'm going to try to read this. So this is a historical fiction book where I think it's 1890s. 1890 something. So the main character, Cora, her husband, has just died, and I have not gotten farther than that right now, but I think she goes to Essex to look for this serpent that's this kind of they think is a mythical creature, or evolutionary, that people have not seen, kind of thing. My mind is thinking Loch Ness Monster kind of thing. So I haven't got that far. I've only gotten 16 pages in. So right now it's still very early. I don't know much beyond that. I mean, I've heard a lot about this over the a couple of years that it's been out, and how everybody's raved about it, and I had it on my, as I said, my TBR since last year, that I wanted to read it. After I got it, I ordered it early, still didn't read it. So we are going to give this a shot. So we'll find out how that goes today. So those are all the books that I read, that I'm in the middle of, that I hope to read those. I'm not sure what I'm gonna read past that. Again, I still have a couple of books on my TBR that I haven't got to. I have those library books that I'm just not sure I'm gonna get to. And then I still have a couple of the try the chapter tag novels that I would like to try as well. So I might try to slip one of those in as well. So I don't know how this will, after I get past The Essex Serpent. After I finish the real Lolita in my car, I probably am going to pick up a library book. I have well, okay, no. I have the audiobook on my Audible account, but I have the library book. But I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up that one or just pick up something else from my Audible selections. I don't know. I have quite a few that I bought on sales recently, so we'll see which one I pick. I don't know. I'm really in a nonfiction mood still, which is really weird, but I'm really enjoying my urban fantasy. So I'm hoping this historical fiction is going to go okay, because again, my brain has been much for on urban fantasy. So it just in moods. We'll see what happens. I do want to get to it. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. What are you guys reading? Any of these that you've read or are planning to read, let me know. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.